Hello for the 15th week in Ordinary Time, July 13-14. Chosen the first reading, Deut.30, 30, and the Gospel, Luke 10. And the goal, I guess, is for me and for you to say, where do I really find God? Or feel that I find God? Because of those readings. In the Gospel, love of God and love of neighbor. Well, it's not too difficult to bump into our neighbor or find our neighbor, and with that great parable, who is my neighbor? But it's not as easy for us to feel the presence of God or to find God in my life. This past week I had a priest friend come in who is an inactive retired priest, and I asked him this question: where do you feel or find God the best? And his answer sort of stunned me, but not really. He says, now that I'm inactive and I'm retired, and when I go to Mass on Sunday or holy days, like most of the laity, and he says, when I'm back there in the back of church, listening to these readings, I feel like I just soak them in. He says, it's funny. He says, in fact, I get more out of those readings better than when I was an active priest up there, worrying about all that should be done, and, you know, what are the servers doing, and is the music going well, and the extraordinary ministers, Eucharistic ministers, you know, and all this gets orchestrated, and it's sort of up to me, the celebrant, the president of the community. But now I just sit back there and listen to the Eucharistic people, or watch the Eucharistic people, and listen to the lectors and the priest and the homily and the scriptures. And I really feel close to Jesus Christ, to that gospel or those scriptures. I get closer to God, I feel, than when I was an active priest. Well, I sort of really like that, because you know what? Sometimes I feel the same way. You know, periodically when I'm home and have the Eucharist here at the house, and I'm the only person, I read those scriptures just for me. For me, myself, and I. I'm not concerned about what am I going to tell the people. What am I going to say when I do this homily? But I just said, what is the book of Deut.30 saying to me? What is Jesus in the gospel saying to me? And I concentrate on that, and I have as long to deliberate about it or whatever. And I really feel close to Jesus Christ in those gospels, and close to God in those Old Testament readings. How do you, and when do you, feel really close to God? When and where do you feel like you contact God or contact Jesus the Christ? Is it here this afternoon, or here this morning, or is it home alone on the back porch, or just taking a breather? Is it when you're really joyful and happy? That's when you feel God the best? Or when you're hurting and troubled? It's when you run to God the most often? Or when do you feel and find God? Well, I think the first reading from Deut.30 is a hint, a good hint And Jesus quotes that, love the Lord your God with your whole heart, mind, and soul, and so forth. But then, toward the end of that first reading, it says that, hey, to find God, it's not too mysterious. Because God is not too mysterious and too remote up in the sky, so we need to get up there, find God. Or he's not on the other side of the sea, send some over there and have him or her come back and report to us that this is what God is really like. The author of Deuteronomy is saying, no, that God is near to you, is in your mouths, in your hearts. Just ask yourself, when do I really feel close to God? That's what I've been asking, and I think it's a darn good question. Because we all want to be close to God, or know God, or be close to Jesus and know Jesus. When does it work best for you? Have a good day.